Hey guys, and welcome back to Live Well and Yoga. I'm your host, Christine Demal. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening in. It means a lot to me. I appreciate the feedback, the sweet messages, and I'm just truly here to support your self care and personal development journey. Hopefully, to inspire and motivate you to find your shine from the inside out. It's not an easy thing to do, so I applaud you wherever you are in your journey. It's just keep going and feeling yourself from the inside out is just the process, and you discover yourself as you go along, and things will unfold. Even in the tough times, things will unfold in the aftermath. So, with that said, in this episode, I do want to talk about personal development. That's giving back to yourself mentally, physically, just fueling your mind and body with things that align with you, to find, that authentic version of you. And that's, I know I mentioned a lot about how I started on my own self care journey, but truly, if you don't even know where to start, just start with yourself, because fueling yourself gives you that internal foundation to take on whatever it is to come. And, how do we start with personal development? Where do we actually start? It's just baby steps. Whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, it could be just a 15-minute walk, because that 15-minute walk could lead into a 30-minute walk. And that 30-minute walk could lead into an hour walk. Because when you feel yourself like that, when you feel yourself physically, it feels good in the long run. It's like instant gratification with long-term benefits, because we all know about instant gratification with short-term benefits. It leaves us feeling, it leaves us feeling icky and brings our energy down. But giving yourself back physically, like walks and low impact exercises, benefits us in the long run. So whether it's taking that 15-minute walk and eventually turning it into an hour walk, it could be something physical, starting or giving back to yourself could be something mental, like journaling, getting your visions out there on paper, putting it out into the universe of what it is that you want. And, spiritually, maybe it's a yoga practice, meditation, or just finding a quiet time and finding that self, to bring out that clarity. And in that clarity, you become self aware. So just fueling yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, giving back to yourself. And, we talk a lot about giving back to yourself, but what actually stops us from giving back to ourselves? Why don't we make time for it? Why is it always the last thing on our priority list? Why can't we give back to ourselves? And maybe you already do, but maybe it's like you're not prioritizing self care. And it could be a reflection of perhaps how you think about yourself, your value. And you may value yourself and think of yourself as a high value person, but but the action or lack of action is truly, a reflection of how you think of yourself. Because if you're not giving yourself and all you're doing is putting that energy into others or to work or to, other people's problems, what about you? You need to refuel yourself in order to be there for others. You could be on top of the world when it comes to work, when it comes to, having the best of friends. And really, when you question that, you could even question the quality of your friendships. Are these truly quality friendships that give back to yourself, that truly fuel your soul? Or are they taking the energy away from you? For those who don't prioritize self care, why is it? Why don't you do that? That's a question to ask yourself. Do you feel undeserving of it? Or you may know that you're deserving of it, but are you afraid of who you'll become in the aftermath? Are you perhaps setting the expectation so high, you're afraid that you won't meet your own expectation, and so don't even start? But again, it just goes back to baby steps. It goes to small changes in your daily or evening routines, adding certain exercises or setting aside time to journal, to meditate, or whatever it is in order to fuel your soul. And when you take those baby steps lead into changes in your routine. They eventually those habits turn into routines, and it just becomes a part of you. And you won't even there is no like after 3 weeks I'm going to change. It just becomes a part of you, and it becomes a way of life. When we talk about personal development or changing, when we talk about change isn't overnight. It's in time, it's over time. And, change can happen in a month, change can happen in 3 months, change can happen in a year. We're always changing, we're always growing, but what you fuel yourself with will determine how you'll be in 6 months. Listening to motivational speakers and, you know, people that have influenced me along this journey, it's like, just say, for example, in a year, there's seasons. In the beginning of the season, or you can call it the first quarter, that's when we set the tone for the year. We decide our goals, we decide what we want to change or what we want to improve. And then when the spring comes, that's when we work. That's when we work on these goals. That's when we plant the seeds, when we start the action steps. And then in the summer is when you'll see the progress of your work. Your work will come into fruition. And then by fall and winter, the aftermath of all that work you did will will blossom. It'll either blossom or it'll plateau. And so either way, it's taking the accountability. If the work wasn't done, taking the accountability that the work wasn't done, you know? And at the same token, on the other side of the spectrum, if you hustled, you put in the work, acknowledge that you did that, appreciate yourself for that. Don't let it go unnoticed that you did the work. It's not about being cocky, it's just about being humble and thankful that that version of you at the beginning of the year put in the work in order to become the person that you are by the end of the year. There's two sides. You either put in the work and take accountability and appreciation that you did that, or you don't put in the work, or maybe there's a lack of work, and take accountability that, okay, acknowledge that what you need to reprioritize maybe for the next year, for the next season. It's taking accountability that we are the ones who determine our change. There's so many things that we can point blame on. We can point blame on the work. We can point blame on the weather. Point blame on the people who we don't see eye to eye with at work, or maybe it's a friendship that's just taking away your energy. We could blame so many things, but it's about taking accountability and just putting in the work. And so personal development is personal. It's taking a step back, recognizing what you are allowing into your life, what you're reciprocating, and also what you are putting out there. And if you want change, change begins with you. And if you're surrounded by people that don't see your vision, and most likely they don't see your vision because you're the only one who could visualize your dreams, your maybe crazy delusional dreams, but you're the only one who could see that. Others may have, the best intention for you, but the potential they see is the potential that they may have for themselves. They don't see or feel the potential that you could accomplish and achieve. You know, if you live up to the potential that others have for you, then you're capped. If you just go full throttle and work on your dreams and work on you, whether your goal is physical, mental, or creating a podcast or writing a book, you're the one that has the power to do that. You know, others may not have any idea that you want to write a book, but in your mind, you want to. And so if you're surrounded by people with limiting beliefs, then it's only going to justify that you're not capable to write this book or to start that podcast or to lose 5 pounds. Have you ever had the comment, like, just say you don't necessarily need to lose weight? And, or maybe you have that extra 10 pounds that you want to lose. And people around you will say, you don't need to lose any weight. And this is for you to decide if you do or not. But you're the one who knows what you need to do inside. And so they have the best intention saying, you don't need to lose any weight. You're beautiful just the way you are. And if you can just, if you know that maybe losing the 10 pounds is something that you just need to do to fuel yourself from the inside out. And just say you did the work, you did it the most healthy way, you cut out sugar, you cut out whatever it is that's making you carry this extra weight. Say you did it in the most healthy way, they'll come back and go, oh my gosh, you look so great. It's like, wait a minute, you just told me 3 months ago that I didn't need to lose weight, but they don't know the outcome because it's an unknown. It's the unknown that we fear because we would rather settle with familiar chaos than uncertainty because we don't know. We want to, it's just in our nature. We want to know. We want to know now. We want to know, even if it's in the future, our mind wants to take control of that. So it's in the unknown is when we become the person we're supposed to become. And so just for example, let's just take it back to losing the 10 pounds. In those 3 months or however long it took to lose those 10 pounds, you became a different person. So it wasn't just about losing the 10 pounds. It was everything that you gained. You gained confidence. You gained dedication to your fitness routine, to eating a healthy lifestyle, to cutting out the sugar, whatever it is, you became someone new in those 3 months. I mean, that person was always you, but you rerouted your path. You reprogrammed your mind to believe that, maybe it's you snack late at night, that's comfort. It's comforting. So you reprogram your mind to step away from the comfort food, to eat, a little bit more healthy, to add in a little bit more cardio and, just workouts to your routine. You became this new person. So it wasn't just about losing the 10 pounds. It was becoming the person you became throughout the process. And so you gain so much more than losing 10 pounds. You gain the internal foundation, you gain the confidence, and you gain that physical strength by, changing your workout routine. So it's not just about, losing the 10 pounds. If you were to go tell someone, rather than saying, I'm going to go lose 10 pounds, if you say, I'm going to go gain some confidence, like, okay, sure, buddy, go ahead and do that. But, it's like, when you put in the work, when, taking it back again to exercise, when you put in the work to just, go on walks, maybe do some strength training, maybe a Pilates class here and there, but it really isn't about losing the 10 pounds. It's about gaining yourself back, giving back to yourself. And the consequence is just losing 10 pounds. It's like these small habits become a lifestyle. And when you keep up with this lifestyle, when you are constant with it, the outcome was just losing 10 pounds. I've been there before where my goal was to lose 10 pounds. Did I ever lose the 10 pounds? No, because I worked too hard. And at this time in my life, it was about, I exercised in order to feel good. I went on a walk in order to feel good. And sure, that helps. If you're having a bad day, go outside, get some nature, some vitamin D. But, when we have that internal, confidence and gratification and just fueled within, that increases our vibration. We elevate ourselves. So it's like we are already elevated, so we go and work out. We already are worthy to work out, whether, I'm going to work out to feel worthy. There's a difference. If you know, you know. And if you're surrounded by people who drain your energy, who exhaust you, you aren't going to get to where you need to go. And this could even be someone close to you, like a parent, a sibling. It could be your closest friends, or it could be someone you're in a relationship with. If it's draining you and it's exhausting you, it isn't going to get to where you need to be. It's about disconnecting with what doesn't align with you, with the friendships, relationships that don't align with you. And what one thing that I've learned, that even in my own experience, at one point I believed that, I mean, this could still be true, and it does make a little bit of sense where, it could be because of childhood trauma. People are attracted to familiar chaos. So they attract themselves to, unhealthy relationships or just toxic relationships. And when you're on the outside, it seems so easy to walk away. Like, why wouldn't you walk away from someone who isn't treating you right, or who isn't, doesn't align with you? In a way, it could be based on unhealed trauma. But on the other side of that, on the other scope of that, it could be because you fear a healthy relationship. You fear that a healthy relationship could possibly break your heart. So you navigate towards unhealthy ones because it's pretty much over from the start. Like, you subconsciously know that it isn't going to work out, but you'd rather settle with that than something that could be healthy because you're afraid to lose it. And so, and this could be true. This could be true. There could be unhealed trauma, unhealed pain. So we just navigate towards familiar chaos. But at the same time, there could be other reasons that you're navigating towards unhealthy relationships. Maybe it's a way to distract you from reaching your potential, from reaching your goals. And, maybe it's just a distraction to reach your goals because, like I said before, you're the one who knows what your potential is. You see your vision, you have your dream, you're capable, and you're beyond capable. It's almost frightening how much you believe you're capable to reach these delulu goals that you have in your head, but you don't have the framework, you don't have the guidelines, you don't have a role model to reach these goals. So in your mind, you're like, this is so crazy. No one's going to believe that I could accomplish this. They could support you, but your dreams and goals are so off the wall that people who do support you and believe in you may be like, okay, girl, I believe in you. I know you got the potential, but come on now, that can't be, and so. And they have the best intention because they want to bring it down to safety. And this could be a family member. They want to protect you. They want you to be safe and secure. They kind of pull you back down. And these dreams could be so delusional and so crazy, but you have this dream to, whether it be, talking on stages, whether it's to write a book, whether it's to, I don't know, purchase your dream home off the beach overlooking the ocean, buy that G-Wagon, that Range Rover, whatever it is, you have these delulu dreams. And when you're surrounded by people who kind of, in the best intentions, humbleize you, kind of bring you down to earth, but, going back to these relationships, in a way, it's a distraction. And it's a distraction from these dreams, from these goals, from the things that you want in life, whether it is love, whether it's something professional, personal, finding that best version of yourself. Your dream is so crazy that you navigate towards, certain relationships, or these relationships that don't encourage. Like, it could be on the surface encouraging, but truly it takes you away from that. It distracts you from achieving these goals because you're hiding in their shadows. You're hiding because your dream, you may feel that your dream is too crazy. So then you kind of hide in the shadows of these relationships because, it's like you're afraid that your potential might shine way too fucking bright. But you know what? It won't. Stop dimming yourself. Stop dimming yourself in the shadows of others. Stop limiting yourself, having these limiting beliefs that maybe your parents had for you. They had their goals, they had their visions, and in a way, that was their dream. And if their highest dream is their highest dream, and their highest dream might be your minimum dream. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, you could applaud them. That was great that they accomplished their dreams, but their dream might just be safety and security. You want to go beyond safety and security. You want to live your most abundant life. Fuel yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And what needs to be done is to disconnect yourself. Disconnect yourself energetically from these unhealthy relationships, from these toxic relationships. And they may not even be toxic or unhealthy. Just disconnect yourself from their limiting beliefs, from the potential that they have for you, and start believing in your own potential. And once you separate yourself from these limiting beliefs, whether it's others, other people's perceptions of you, or just maybe it's your own limiting beliefs. Once you separate yourself from these limiting beliefs or the things that you role modeled, as a child, sometimes when we are given a certain bar, an expectation, and especially if it's a parent, because they were the ones who set the bar, they set the tone. And, there's also that energy of, if I do opposite of what they want for me, am I disappointing them? Am I going to disappoint them if I go for my own dream? Because, if they set the bar that you have to have an 8 to 5 jobs, security and stability, why would you want anything less? So it's like, if that becomes, if that is the bar that has been set for you, and it's been embedded in your mind that this is, the ultimate way of life. And there's probably a part of you that's like, okay, if I don't want this, I'm going to upset, my mom or my dad, or, I'm going to hurt their feelings because of this expectation. But when you have a dream larger and wider beyond, anyone's dreams, beyond your wildest dreams, it's out there and you know what you have to do. So it's about stepping aside from, disconnecting from these limiting beliefs, stop hiding in the shadows of, these unhealthy relationships. And the cycle is going to continue because, you know that there is something out there. You have a mission, you have a gift that you want to share with the world. And it's this greatest gift that's been given to you, but it's so large and in charge. And like I said before, there isn't a manual, there isn't, the framework. You're creating this on your own. In the process, that's your framework. You're building the process as you go. But because that process isn't there, or the bar hasn't been set for that, you it almost seems delusional. It almost seems crazy. Or what if, you might feel that you're going to mess up, but you might reroute the path. You might mess up, you might fail, but that's where you learn. That's where you grow. And these unhealthy relationships, that we navigate towards, it's almost like we're hiding in the shadows of these relationships. We're dimming our light in these relationships. And in turn, it's justifying that our visions and our dreams aren't a reality, that they can't be real. It's like these relationships were never to be long lasting to begin with, because you're attracting to something that's just going to dim your light because you're too afraid to shine so bright. So when we could separate ourselves from these relationships, understand, why are you navigating towards these relationships? Sure, there could be an unhealed past trauma. It could be you're afraid of an unhealthy one because your heart is too fragile to accept something so loving. And it could be maybe you are searching for love. But for those who have this mission in life to create, to build, and to live an abundant life far beyond your wildest dreams, we have to separate ourselves separate yourselves from the energy, separate yourselves from these limiting beliefs that others may have of you, and these beliefs, or limiting beliefs that you may have for yourself, and put the energy into that belief in yourself. Put the energy, because you know it's there. It's just so far and beyond. It's far beyond. It's to the moon. It's hi. It's out there to the moon, and it's so delulu that you got to bring that in. You got to, fuel yourself with that energy in order to create whatever it is that you want to create. And it's all about energy. When we give our energy, it's not about physical, it's about energy. When we give our energy to things that don't align, it's going to pull us down. You're going to have a lack of sleep. You're going to feel so tired, and you're going to wonder why. And it's the energy. You're going to think, you know what? I'm just having too much coffee. And actually, speaking of coffee, I was actually having too much coffee. I was probably having like 4 to 5 cups of coffee without even realizing it. Because in the morning, I use a coffee pot. So I fill it up. It's a 5 cup coffee pot. So I fill it up to about level 4 or 5. And when you pour the coffee into your mug, it's just one mug full of coffee, thinking that's 1 cup. But if I'm filling that cup up twice, that's like 4 cups of coffee. And then I may have another cup midday. So that's 5 cups of coffee. My mind was so crazy, and just like it was like I had so, not anxiety, but it was just so out there. I wasn't seeing clear. And so the past like week and a half or so, I've limited my coffee to about a cup and a half. And I already feel so much more clarity and clear. It's crazy what coffee can do to your mind and body. I've had the 30-day withdrawal from coffee, or 30 days without coffee, and that withdrawal is insane. If you know, you know. I don't think I'd ever do away with coffee. I think 1 cup to 2 cups is fine, at least for me. But dude, like I was having 4 to 5 cups, and that's crazy to me. But anyways, yes. So if you could, decide. First of all, you have to decide that you want change. You have to decide that you want to change, and understand that change begins with you. And if you don't know where to start with a morning walk. Go outside, just fuel yourself with nature, with vitamin D, and then maybe even take a yoga class. Yoga has helped me mentally, spiritually, physically, but just start with you. And you build that internal foundation in order to, take the next step. And so as we fuel ourselves mentally and physically, we become, we have that internal foundation and become more confident to go for our goals. We could be going for our goals and just doing minimal effort, but when you give back to yourself, it's a different kind of energy that you put out. What we surround ourselves with is a reflection of ourselves. And so if you are in, certain relationships that don't align, it's like, okay, or even if it's, toxic relationships, you may not be technically toxic yourself, but why are you attaching yourself to a toxic relationship? Like I said before, it could be to hide in the shadows. It could be to dim your light because you're too afraid to shine so bright. You could be too afraid to just give yourself, to put your all in it, because you know that the outcome will be extravagant, will be the best, a most abundant life. And maybe you don't know if you could either step up to the plate to live that life, or maybe you think that you're not deserving of such an abundant life. But deep down, that's what you want. It's just scary. It's almost like unfamiliar peace. It's like we don't know. So we gain control. We gain control by dimming our light, so we don't have to wonder who will be in the outcome. We don't have to, we don't have to live up to this expectation. But as we give back to ourselves, we increase our vibe, we increase our energy, we increase our we just elevate ourselves so we can handle it from there. So we can handle the craziness of an abundant life. We can handle the work. We can handle everything that comes into play when it comes to living your wildest dreams, when you give back to yourself. So again, it's about separating yourself, what doesn't align with you, disconnecting from limiting beliefs of what others have for you or what you have for yourself. Understand why you're in the relationships you're in and separating yourself from those relationships so you can put that energy into whatever it is that you want to do, whether it is physical, fitness, personal, professional, whatever it is. But stepping away from those energies that drain you will allow you the space to find clarity, will allow you to, find your authentic self. And not just find your authentic self, just to have a clear mind. Because when we're in these, relationships that take up our energy, everything becomes so foggy. Once you step away from that, and it could just take a day, just energetically take yourself away from it, and you'll already feel so enlightened, but you have to know you want to change, and you have to do the work. People can support you. You can have people can have the best intention and support you, but it's you that where the change begins. Personal development begins with you, change begins with you. And it's just deciding that you want to change, knowing that you are valuable, knowing that you are capable. And these dreams are not delusional. They're your dreams. You create the pathway. You create the framework of it. And, the framework isn't there. That's why it's scary, because we're walking on something so fragile. There isn't a framework. You're building it as you go. That's why it's so scary to get it. Let's turn the light on and, live life abundantly. In that process, you're going to become who you're supposed to be. And I know you're going to be able to handle it from there. You guys, I believe 2025 is our year. It's your year to shine. I know it's your year to find your true, authentic self. You're going to find yourself, this version of yourself. You're going to find the best version of yourself personally, professionally, and, love will come eventually. But I truly, truly believe finding yourself first, finding your authentic self first, will lead you and direct you to whether it is love, whether it's a friendship, a social circle, will lead you in that direction, because what you put out there is what you're going to attract in the long run. I am cheering for you and supporting you in your journey. And at the same time, I'm growing with all of you. So let's make 2025 the best year. It's just still the beginning of the year. Actually, it's going to be spring, so this is the season to plant the seeds and watch our fruit grow in the summer. And yes, that's all I have. And I'm excited to learn, grow, and see what happens. Let me know in the comments below, what are you going to do today to give back to yourself, even if it's just a little baby step towards the next one. What is it are you going to give back to yourself mentally, whether it's physical or just spiritual? I've always loved journal writing, going out for a beach walk, just giving back to myself and, fueling myself from the inside out. So let me know what you guys are going to do to fuel yourself today. And, until next time, you guys, live well. And of course, yoga. Bye.